Welcome to a new Smart Tech Edu-Series episode. I have a question for you. Is Apple about to do to the foldable phone market what it did to the original smartphone category, as well as the smartwatch, wireless earbuds, and even digital music player categories? Because Smart Tech Research just completed a quantitative primary research survey of 291 U.S. consumers geographically dispersed across the country. And the data tells a very specific story about what happens when Apple shows up. The short version, 33% of US consumers are literally waiting for Apple before they will even seriously consider buying a foldable phone. And when you break down who these people are and how much they're willing to spend, the upside potential for Apple may be higher than current forecasts. In this video, we'll share highlights from the Smart Tech team's foldable smartphone study. Stick around until the end, and I'll share how you can get the entire research report, which contains more results than we'll cover in this video. My name is Brett Faulk, and I've been a product management executive in multiple Fortune 100 companies and a few startups spanning more than 25 years. I'm happy to be back as a guest contributor for this Smart Tech Research Edu-Series episode. In 2010 to 2011, I worked on one of the earliest foldable phone designs, the iMerge SmartPad. So this is a topic I'm excited about. Let's get started. Let me quickly set the table. This was a US-only online survey with 291 completed responses conducted in May 2026. The sample was intentionally skewed toward premium smartphone users because foldable phones are a premium segment phenomenon, and talking to budget phone buyers about a $2,000 device doesn't tell you much. So 31% of respondents use an iPhone Pro Max, 34% of respondents use any other iPhone model, and 35% are on Android, mostly Samsung Galaxy. And this split was intentional. Let's start with the top-line findings. The results indicate strong latent demand for foldable phones. 59% of these premium users find a foldable more appealing than a regular candy bar phone. 61% say Apple entering the market would make them more confident in the category overall. And the biggest near-term opportunity, and the data says this clearly, is the iPhone Pro Max upgrade, with 70% of Pro Max users indicating a foldable phone is more appealing. Note, 56% find the phone plus small tablet all-in-one positioning convincing and perhaps the strongest purchase rationale in the data. When you ask people how open they are to buying a foldable phone as their next device, here's where it gets interesting. Across all respondents, about 40% are open or very open. But when you break it down by device type, that number explodes among iPhone Pro Max users. 46% of Pro Max owners are very open. Compare that to 21% of other iPhone users and 27% of Android users. That's more than double. And when you ask how appealing the idea of a foldable is compared to a regular smartphone, 70% of Pro Max owners say more appealing, with 45% saying much more appealing. That's nearly double the rate of other iPhone users at just 17%. Here's one more data point that seals it. 34% of Pro Max owners in this survey already own a foldable phone, most of them Android ones. They've already crossed the category barrier. Now they need to be enabled into the Apple ecosystem, and it is expected that barrier is about to disappear. The implication is clear. Apple's foldable launch is primarily an iPhone upgrade story. It is not, at least in year one, an Android switching story. More on that in a minute. So, what do people actually want from a foldable, and what's stopping them from buying one today? On the benefit side, the winning argument is not technology or innovation. It's utility. 40% of respondents cite a larger screen for video, browsing, and reading as the top benefit. Additional top benefits consumers are seeking are multitasking and tablet-like experiences. The message that works is not "this is the future." Rather, it's iPhone and iPad mini in your pocket. And when you ask if a foldable could replace both a phone and a small tablet, 56% say yes. That's a convincing argument. That's your hero value proposition right there. And the top 3 use cases align perfectly for a foldable phone's larger display. Perhaps no surprise entertainment, multitasking, and general readability of content are the top rated experiences. Productivity tested lower and was defined as work-related use cases such as editing documents and calendar management. Note, gaming tested at 15%. Now the barriers. Price is number one. Durability, i.e., will the hinge hold up, is number two. And ecosystem lock-in is number three. Apple users want a device that is compatible with all the other Apple products and services they use. Here's the good news for Apple. Their entry eliminates that third barrier entirely for their own users. iPhone people who haven't bought a foldable because they didn't want to switch ecosystems, that objection goes away the day Apple announces. But price and durability remain, and those require real solutions, not messaging. Surprisingly, concerns for a screen crease is much lower relatively speaking. I expect Apple is working to eliminate any screen crease, but the study results suggest consumers may be somewhat forgiving on this, at least for a Gen 1 Apple device. Now let's take a look at what may be the most important number in the entire study. Finally, pricing. When you ask people the highest price they would consider paying for a foldable phone, one that clearly delivers benefits over a regular smartphone, only 22% say $2,000 or more. 38% cap out below $1,500. 13% say they wouldn't pay any premium at all. Now compare that to what the analysts are projecting. IDC pegs Apple's launch average selling price at around $2,400. That's above the ceiling for roughly 78% of consumers. And here's the thing, as you would expect, Pro Max owners are the most price-tolerant group in the study. And even among them, only 32% will go to $2,000 or above voluntarily. This means carrier subsidies will be critical. And the trade-in value for a Pro Max iPhone as an additional discount will likely help drive a foldable iPhone's net price below $2,000 and open up the opportunity even further for Apple. There's one more finding I want to leave you with because it's counterintuitive and I think it says something bigger about where this market is going. We asked people, if Apple enters the foldable market, does that make you more confident buying any foldable phone, not just an Apple one? 61% said yes, much more confident, or yes, somewhat more confident. Think about what that means. Apple's entry benefits Samsung. It benefits Google's Pixel Fold. It legitimizes the entire category in the eyes of US consumers who have been sitting on the sidelines. Apple is the category unlock, not just for its own products, but for the market as a whole. So, what does this mean practically? The go-to-market strategy needs two parallel tracks. One for the iPhone Pro Max upgrade cohort. Premium positioning, Apple Intelligence integration, day one availability, minimal discount required, and a second track for everyone else, all other iPhone owners, and eventually Android consideration. That is carrier first, subsidy driven, and probably doesn't really kick in until 6 to 12 months after launch. The bottom line from 291 US consumers is this. Apple has a genuinely dominant position lined up in the US foldable market, but only if they solve three things. First, optimizing their price positioning relative to an iPhone plus iPad mini, factoring in carrier and trade-in subsidies. Second, durability through product quality. And third, resist the temptation to pursue Android switching as a significant near-term opportunity. It isn't. The upgrade story within iPhone's own installed base is massive enough on its own. If this kind of primary market research is useful to you, please subscribe. If you want the full research deck, go to smarttechresearch.net/free-offer. You can also submit a request for a custom cut of the research data. Finally, if you need help with research or market analysis or solving challenges related to your roadmap planning, business strategy, marketing, messaging, or brand growth execution, the Smart Tech team is ready to help. Click on the link below to request a complimentary 60-minute planning workshop with the Smart Tech team. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.